Hey guys, what's up? This is Francisco with Valorizo Capital. And in this video, we're going to do the weekly watch list video. I'm going to share some of the names. I'm going to share 6 names, 6 sectors that I'm going to be watching for next week. We're going to go through the setup and through the analysis of the chart. And remember that these videos are based on my personal opinion and they are not financial advice. So let's start here with the first name of the list. And this is a name that we discussed last week, which is USO, which is the ETF for crude oil. And what actually caught my attention in USO last week was that we actually tried to break out above this level. You can see the candle right here, but this candle got reversed. We actually had 2 days below that breakout level. And when we have 2 days below a breakout level, I usually consider that to be a strong confirmation that the breakout was, it was a failed breakout, and there is a lot of bulls that are trapped actually in this candle right here. And we usually see a pretty strong move to the downside, or basically just a change in trend, because that tends to happen also when we have failed breakdowns. So I'm actually looking at USO as a bearish opportunity. And the reason is, as you can see here, we had this failed breakout, and now we have an active sell signal with a squeeze that is pointing lower. Actually, is starting to fire to the downside. And you can also see that the trend oscillator is below the 50 line, which means that we have more selling pressure or selling momentum than bullish momentum. So there's a high probability for a continuation to the downside. Now, we broke below the 69.51 level. You can see that we have this pretty strong candle to the downside. However, now we move above it. So here's what I want to see to continue to consider this to be a bearish opportunity in the market. This orange line that I have here, this level, which is 71.79, is actually a Fibonacci projection, or some people call it a Fibonacci extension, Fibonacci projection, because basically it's just a projection of the rally that preceded the decline, which is this rally that we had, this 2-day rally that we have here. If we mirror that rally to this low right here, then we're actually getting another rally into that 71.79 level. If price is unable to close above that level right here, then I will consider that this is just a rally into resistance, and they were probably going to see a continuation in the trend based on the market structure in USO. And we can also see that momentum in both of my indicators is also trending to the downside, and we actually have an active sell signal in the chart as well. The EMA that I have here is the 21 exponential moving average, and that exponential moving average is starting to trend to the downside, which also adds conviction to this trade being a bearish opportunity. The lines that I have here, guys, and if you have been following the channel, I always use these 2 momentum indicators that I have here, and then I use a lot of Fibonacci, right, extensions, retracements, and projections to find levels. And then the lines that I have here, which are these dotted lines, these are basically just swing levels. That way I don't have to draw all of these lines in the chart. I just have an indicator that find those levels for me by using a formula, looking for minor lows and looking for minor lows and minor highs patterns, which are based on a pretty recognizable pattern, which is when you have a minor low, you have this low right here, which tends to be in between 2 higher lows. And then if we have that pattern, we're gonna basically get an arrow, which is informing us that we probably are gonna see a reversal in price, and it's gonna be the same pattern for finding the highs and the resistance levels. And then I usually just look at price structure. As soon as we break one level, then I'm looking for us to test the next level in the chart, and then basically that way we can see a lot of market structure in the price action. So this is going to be the first name, and the level that I have for you is going to be this 179.71.79. If we break above that level, then this idea is not gonna be longer valid. However, if we keep price below that level, then this idea is gonna be valid for a continuation lower into 66. That's gonna be for USO, and then that way you can manage your risk somewhere around this level right here. So the next one that I have is XOP, which also has to do with this sector of crude oil. And what I like with XOP, which is this is also a bearish opportunity that I'm watching in the market. You can see that we actually have a squeeze. The momentum is actually pointing to the downside. So we already had the momentum going to the upside, and like ebbs and flows, like waves, the price action is already starting to trend to the downside. Well, the momentum, sorry, the momentum in the TTM squeeze is already starting to trend to the downside, and you can see that the momentum in the trend oscillator is already below that EMA, and that's why we have a red line here, which means that the selling momentum is starting to pick up. What I want to see here for this idea to continue to be valid, I want to see that price remains below this 145 level, which is the last level of resistance that then became support, failed to act as support, and now is acting as resistance. If price is unable to close above this level for 2 consecutive days, then this idea will continue to be valid. However, if we happen to rally to this next level, the 0618 level, measure from this swing high to this swing low right here, then that's going to be resistance. And that level also happened to coincide with a Fibonacci projection measure from this swing low to this swing high projected into this move. And then we're probably going to see a symmetrical move to the upside, but then I'm going to be looking for this to get rejected and then have another symmetrical move to the downside in XOP. The next level that I have for you, the next name that I have for you is XLE. And XLE has a similar pattern. You can see that we had a pretty strong move to the upside. However, the momentum in the TTM squeeze is already starting to move to the downside. We can also see that the momentum in the trend oscillator is also starting to move to the downside. And now the trend oscillator, which is the black line, is below that EMA. And we can also see that price right now, right? However, you can see that XLE is actually holding above this 78.54 level. If we happen to find resistance at this 0618 level, which is measured from this swing high to this swing low here, and we happen to rally there, fail, and then fail below this 78.54 level, then that will increase my conviction in this trade, because the probability of us taking out this low right here will be pretty high, and then I'm going to be looking for a test of 73.01. So the level that I'm going to be looking at is the 0618 retracement, which is 81.97. If price is unable to move above that level, then I'm going to be looking for this squeeze to continue to trend to the downside, and then perhaps XLE to start a new move to the downside as well. The next name that I have for you is UNG, and this is probably one that is going to need a little bit more time. UNG, you can see that we had a pretty strong move to the outside, right? A pretty easy move to analyze. We have a broke above this resistance level, pretty strong move to the upside. We had a pullback to that 21 exponential. Then we had a move above this resistance level, and then we just basically were making higher lows and higher highs until that pattern was broken and we started to make lower highs, and then we broke this higher low, and then the trend changed. What I'm going to be looking for is going to be a rally into resistance. So if we measure this swing high to this swing low here, the 0618 level is going to come somewhere around here. And if we happen to rally somewhere near that 21 exponential moving average, I'm going to be looking for a rejection and then a continuation of a move lower into this 26 level, and then perhaps a continuation into that 0618 level into 24.48. And you can see that the momentum in the indicators, we have a squeeze that is firing to the downside, and the trend oscillator is already trending lower, and I have an active sell signal right here. So any rally into resistance is going to be an opportunity to set up short positions. And then I have two more names. I have the SPY, and then I'm going to have also a bullish idea that I'm going to share with you. The SPY is also going to be a bearish idea. And the reason why the SPY is a bearish idea is because the SPY is moving into resistance. We have a pretty strong 3-day rally, bullish rally. However, if we make a projection from this swing low to this swing high, which is the rally that preceded the decline, and we project it into this move right here, that level comes right here into 49.87. And that will be a perfect image of this rally into this level of resistance. And that level of resistance happened also to be the last level of support that was broken on this day right here. So any move into this resistance level should be considered as an opportunity to set up shorts and then look for a continuation lower into the next Fibonacci extension, which is somewhere around 378.59, which is the 1272 measured from this level to this level right here, and then that will be the next extension to the downside. And this one is a pretty easy setup, right? You can short as close to this level as possible. If we happen to close above the supply level, which is 409.60, if we happen to close above that level for 2 consecutive days, then the probability that we are going to continue higher increases. So it's a pretty easy trade to manage. The levels are already set in the chart, so keep this level in mind, 409.60. If that level is broken for 2 consecutive days, then the bulls are actually making a pretty strong stance, and then we're probably going to see a change in trend and a continuation higher. However, if we fail at that level, then bears are still in control, and this was just a perfect symmetrical rally to the last rally, and I'm going to be looking for a symmetrical move to the downside and another leg lower in the market. And then the only bullish idea that I'm going to share with you, which I'm actually not the conviction in this idea is actually not pretty high, and I'm going to tell you why. This is the TAN ETF, and this is actually the #1 sector in the market right now in terms of bullish scans and everything of that. The reason why, what my conviction in this trade is not high enough to consider it as my main focus is because the market, which is the SPY that we recently talked about, is actually moving into resistance, and somewhere around 3 out of 4 stocks in the market move with the general market, which is the SPY. And if the SPY is moving into resistance and there's a high probability of the SPY rolling lower, the probability of TAN rallying is going to decrease. So I'm just going to keep it super simple. If TAN happens to break above this level right here, basically somewhere around 89.35, if TAN is able to break above that level, I think that bullish positions are an option. However, if TAN breaks above it but then fails, I think you just cut them out and consider short positions instead of these long positions. So just keep it pretty easy. If it's above this level right here, consider longs, and the level is going to be 89.35. If it's below 89.35, there's a high probability that this was just a rally into resistance, and this is just another lower high, and then we're probably going to see a move to the downside in TAN, and this was just basically a trap for the bulls. Or probably we're just going to see continuation of this chop, because if price continues to be above 82.01, then price is just stuck in a range, and we will probably just continue to see this kind of action right here. So in conclusion, if it's above 89.35, consider longs. If it's below it, probably just stay away. And if we happen to break below 82.01, then we're probably going to see a change in trend, and we can consider TAN as a possible short option. In terms of the momentum in the indicators, you can see that we have positive momentum in the trend oscillator. However, the trend oscillator has been making lower highs. We have to see we are able to actually start making higher lows in the momentum oscillator, and also the squeeze is starting to turn positive, and that's probably a good signal. But I'm going to be focusing on price action before I'm going to be focusing a lot on price action, and then I'm going to be looking if momentum gives me a little bit of a heads up of what is actually going to happen. So those are the names that I have for you this week. These are the sectors, and I usually just trade the sectors. I find it to be super simple. There are a lot of these sectors, most of them, they already have leverage ETFs of 2x, 3x, and they are pretty liquid. So if you want to look at different stocks inside these ETFs, you can do it. Or if you only want to trade the ETFs, as I do myself, you can of course do that as well. So I'm sure this video was helpful for you guys. I shared a lot of information, and if you like the way that I look at the markets, make look to like and subscribe, and that way we can share this information with more traders, as I consider it to be really useful information for you to understand how to read the markets and basically use market structure, which is an amazing way to look at the markets. Also, remember to follow me on Twitter. My Twitter account is at Valoristo Capital, and in that Twitter account, I share a lot of setups, and I usually share my thoughts at the end of the day of the market, and that way we can exchange information and be connected. Thank you so much, guys, for watching, and I wish you the best of lucks. Bye bye. Peace.